Get this.
You're on mute.
There we go, man. There we go. Now I knew I was on mute. The computer is computer in right now, man. They after us. All this hard work they trying to get us, man. But you know what it do? We here.
What
We
up?
here. We here, man. We got, saying Strikey with the beautiful back. We got, we got the homie Ryan up here. We LB reeled out right now. This is our last division preview, fellas. How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling?
Man, just another day to be great, man. You know what I'm saying? How y'all been doing?
Working
good, man.
Working hard, man. We all family here, man. Again, we'll get more into it with the flowers, man. We again last segment, AFC South shoot. We here. We're gonna have a crazy show. We got some crazy guests, including again Ryan. Shout out to you joining us. You normally in the comments, but of course you LB Real family now. So anytime you want to pull up, just let us know. And speaking of pulling up, ain't this some shit?
Boy.
Mr. Better late than never, huh? Mr. Better late than never.
What up, Trevor?
He puts off work. He get a pass, man. He get a pass.
We good, man. I gotta give some ish, man. My alien brother, man. Welcome. Without further ado, man, we got our brothers here. We ain't gonna hold nobody ado because, like I said, we got a cool, explosive show for y'all. It's time to get into this AFC South. So, of course, without further ado, man, let's be real.
Welcome to Let's Be Real Sports Podcast, presented by Let's Be Real Media. Watch us live on YouTube and Twitter, and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at LBR_media. Also, subscribe to us on any podcasting platform.
What's going on? BLJ here, the best hype man in the NBA. Man, I'm here with Let's Be Real. Tune in. Hello.
Let's be real.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode 254 exactly of Let's Be Real podcast. I am your blessed host out here just trying to make some shake. At Tab Shakir is what they call me, Took is what they also call me, man. What's going on with the fellas? P Shark Cap, you out there in public, but you know what I'm saying? The hardest working man in Memphis still gonna make it work, man. What's up, Shark?
What it do, man? Live from Top Golf. had to come see a co-worker out. She about to move, so I had to come.
You right up the street at Top Golf, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's called dedication. You working and having fun at the same time. That's what we do, man. That's what we do. Of course, Trev, what's up, brother?
Man, what's good, man? Y'all know how I be. Sorry I was late, man. Just had to, make that drive home from work. So you know how they get on their commute home, especially when it's more than 10 minutes. You got folks acting like they don't know how to drive. So you know how they go. But we here. So, and football is here. Finally. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Hey, when we make it, you know what I'm saying, there's will be situations where they say, nah, they came out of, you know what I'm saying, they just did it like that. Nah, niggas was just getting off work and coming straight to the pod. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? And then shout out to of course, I got Ryan down here, host of the Jump Pass Pod, of course, with the Let's Be Real family. Ryan, what's going on, my brother?
Man, what's good, bro, man? Doing good, I have the luxury of working from home most of the time, so I ain't got to worry about all that traffic. So, I'm just little shot at Trevor, but it is what it is. It's all love.
It's all love. It's all love. Hey, speaking of all love, man, make sure y'all give us some love, like, comment, and subscribe, man. If you had already, we super close to 200 subscribers, so please come on, subscribe. We need you, man. So make sure y'all tap in with the other pods as well. 3 the Hardaway, we doing our top 50 NBA players going into next season. It's already getting crazy with that. I ain't got to get into it. Y'all tap in with us for sure, man. Y'all gonna have some fun with it. Of course, Jump Pass Pod. Make sure y'all tap in with Ryan with that. The Real Deal with Damien. Shout out to our guy Damien, and of course LB Real Gaming with Trevor. Simply Trevor. I would say LineWire Fire Out too, but man, I did a mix with my brother, one of my line brothers, hip hop, mid-90s hip hop. I may go ahead and release this right after the pod.
You talking about it, you might as well drop it.
I may as well just drop it after the pod. So look out for 90s hip hop.
Also, when that day eventually comes to, I will officially welcome you. It's the 2K week is coming. It's dropping. I got my copy. It's on its way.
So we're gonna have to talk about that. We'll talk about that later. After.
We'll talk about that offline.
We'll talk about that offline. And of course, make sure y'all buy some merch. And of course, shout out to our sponsor is SeatGeek. Man, without further ado, I told y'all we got some heavy hitters on today, man. Let me pull up this list because, like I said, it's definitely about to go down right now. We represent the AFC South again, the final division preview show for Let's Be Real. We done went through all of them except the AFC South, so we're going to go ahead and knock that out right now. Starting with, we're going to go ahead and bring this up right now. We got I got Kyle representing the Jaguars, host of the Duval Dive and writer for the 3-point conversion. Kyle, appreciate you coming through, brother.
Hey, glad to jump aboard. And hey, listen, Trevor, I appreciate you coming in a little late. Maybe for once there's another Trevor that gets criticized other than Trevor Lawrence for 30 seconds up there.
Oh, he came with it.
Appreciate you, boys. I'm looking forward to have fun for this. Thanks for thinking of me. And hey, listen, I'm glad you didn't make me follow the next guest because that's a tough act right there. I'm just saying.
Jeez. Speaking of the next guest,
let's go.
Speaking of the next guest, we got about 17 Titans fans already on the stage right now. But this next one is definitely representing. He's definitely representing the Titans. He's the host of the Titans Coliseum podcast and writer for the Athlon Sports. Let's bring up Marako. Marako, appreciate you joining us, man. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, for sure. And it wouldn't be right unless I gave y'all a motherfucker.
That's what I wanted. That's why I wanted him on the show. That's exactly what I wanted.
I knew y'all wanted me here for a reason, man. So I had to give it to you, man. But man, I'm pumped. Like y'all mentioned, 2K come out tomorrow. I play a little basketball. I ain't just, cold with it or anything like that. But, I get out there on the sticks.
We having fun with it, bro. We having fun with it. We get out there when we get them. So, hey, it is what it is.
For sure. But most importantly, hey, football is back, man. Thursday night, you got the Ravens and the Chiefs. Friday, you got Green Bay and the Eagles. And Sunday, you already know, man. Painted nails. He's going down.
Ooh, like that energy, Marako. I appreciate. I didn't expect that, Shark. I ain't know this is what we doing in Titan Nation, man.
Oh yeah, I said some of his videos, bro. He gets like every Sunday.
Hey, you know it's going down. And Shark got security walking around behind him.
Come on, now, big time Shark, big Shark. And of course, man, extended family coming up next. Last but not least, we got our guy C-Lou. He is a co-host of the Sports After Dark. Man, C-Lou, man, I call him AKA second place winner for our fantasy league because I'm definitely going first. But C-Lou, what's going on, man? Appreciate you joining us, brother.
Hey, what's good, y'all? Thanks for having me on, man. Now I get to talk about how we're gonna kick the whole division ass tonight. So
yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is about to be good. This is
gonna be great. Look, I'm gonna sit back. I'm blessed. Like I said, I'm chilling.
You got your division out the way. Our divisions are doing it. So
we chilling. We good. It's like when you got your brother and he finna get in trouble and you ain't do nothing. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's go ahead and start this thing off, man. Positive Flowers. I do definitely want to recognize the network. But let's be real, just a small pat on the back, man. Again, we went through every single division with guests, with family, with friends, people I've known for 10 years. My little brother was a guest on the pod, just family pulling up to the pod and talking about their teams. It's been a special month and a half, give or take 2 months for me personally as a host. So I definitely want to give a thank you to everybody that's been a part of this. And then again, thank y'all for the new family. Like I know it's new faces that I'm looking at right now, but welcome to the Let's Be Real family, man. We appreciate y'all, and I'm ready for a good show.
Yeah, I just like to kind of just add on to that, man. 2 years in a row, we've had 29 of 32 teams covered prior to last year's cancellations, and we ended up having 27 out of 32 last year and just in both years. And ironically, the same 2 teams were canceled, the Jets and the 49ers. But it's crazy we got that many people to come and cover these things.
We're going to get them all next year, though. We're going to get them all next year. I'm going to reach out.
Shout out 3 to Hardaway, of course, it's a Tyler's fan. It feel like one. It feel like one. All right, anybody else? Flowers, man. Anything positive y'all got? Anything that y'all got, man? Go ahead.
Hey, I'll throw something out real quick. It's always good when the big men in the trenches get recognized. How about Trent Williams getting paid?
Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Well deserved.
All you want to do. I've blown plenty of flowers on your mic. Quentin Nelson, all right? Let the fat man get some love. Trent Williams getting the bag like he should as the
first ballot.
I said it.
100%.
First ballot.
First ballot. 100%.
Trevor, tell him. But hey, listen, I had to throw something positive out because you Titans fans. Well, I'm gonna have plenty to say and plenty of jokes. May not land on this crowd too hot. That's all I'm saying. I'm throwing.
Bring it.
We might as well just go right on into it. Whoever.
I want to throw some flowers out real quick.
Yeah,
go ahead, see, Lou.
It's not really NFL related, but I want to give flowers to FSU for being so terrible to start the year.
Oh man, Memphis.
You ruined it for Memphis FSU. You ruined it.
Being a Miami Hurricane fan, I love to see things like this happen. Also want to shout out the Florida Gators for going out there and getting their ass kicked on Saturday.
I love it. Love every bit of it.
They talking about, oh, y'all got to go to the swamp. We Florida boys. We don't care about no swamp. Like we down there already. We don't care about no swamp. We good out there. So yeah, just shout out to those 2 teams for stinking it up. But shout out to all y'all, man, doing y'all thing and everything. Shout out to my Sports After Dark family. Shout out to just everybody out there doing their thing in this sports business. There's enough room for all of us to eat, and that's what we're doing right now.
Absolutely.
Hey, flowers to your Miami Canes for actually looking like they might be back for once. How about that?
Yeah. I'm gonna pump the brakes on it I'm gonna pump the brakes on that. I gotta see some more. I gotta see some more before I be out here, yelling at the U is back.
I think after they blow out Florida State, then he'll be like, all right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He got Florida State first.
Sure.
He got Florida. They went into the swamp. They thrashed him. So now he need that FSU game under there.
That's a fact.
He can stay in the clear.
One last bit of positive from me, gentlemen, since we're feeling the energy. I'm going to throw flowers to my Duval Dive co-host, Travis D. Holmes. If you haven't followed him on Twitter yet, by the way, do so. You will enjoy yourself.
Shout out Travis.
Shout out Travis.
But how much he's actually taught me about actually knowing and following and covering and a little bit of scouting of DBs just over the past year, man. I'm going to sound a lot more intelligent about talking about that position. And trust me, with the Jags, plenty of DB talk out there. So, I definitely had to throw him those flowers since we're given the opportunity, getting all misty up in here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got something as well. So, kind of piggyback with C. Lou, I was thinking about Florida and Florida State, right? At this rate, they're gonna probably be on Tubi. That game's gonna be on Tubi. But
That's right.
that's not really my flowers. Really, my flowers is gonna go out to Marcus Freeman. If y'all don't know who Marcus Freeman is, he's the coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah,
he's really has elevated that program, in my opinion. A lot of people didn't really want him replacing Brian Kelly. If you can think about what Brian Kelly did in his last 3 years at Notre Dame against top 25 teams, he was 5-7. Marcus Freeman, after the win against Texas A&M, another top 25 team, in the last, in his first 3 years, he's 8-4. So he's definitely has really elevated that program. So I just want to give, my flowers and my shout out to him.
Hey, I do it. Defying Vegas, by the way, being picked as the underdog in that damn game. I don't know what they was smoking.
Man, look, EA Sports, y'all might want to reevaluate that list of toughest places to play. Y'all had Texas A&M ranked at number 1, and from what I just saw, Notre Dame just had no problem with took care of business.
I mean, you almost beat them last year. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my flowers in state, man. Hey. Gotta show some love to Vandy, man. They came in as a big underdog. I mean, they was at home, but you know it's Vandy, so they always gonna be the underdog. But when I turned on that game, I was like, oh, look, man, 20 points already? What the hell going on now? Yeah. It got sticky in the fourth quarter. They lost their lead, but
it got ugly. It got ugly.
It went to overtime. It came with the field goal and all that. But Vandy made the plays on defense, and hey, they got a legit ass quarterback, in my opinion, man. That dude, Diego, what is the name? Diego Pava or whatnot? Hey, dude, that got some hard, man. So Vandy, y'all keep stacking them wins, man.
Thank y'all for making that game entertaining, because the games that were on alongside it were straight blowouts. So thank you for making that.
It was the best game on at the time, because you know Tennessee, they was handling business.
Tennessee and Chad, we already knew what was up with that, and then
Clemson just straight up shit the bed.
Yeah, and then Georgia. I knew Georgia was finna smack Clemson. I just watched it just for the sake of watching, but I knew Georgia was finna smack Clemson like it was.
You even got D-Hop out here on Twitter talking about it's embarrassing, man. I mean that's honestly a shot at. Yeah, that's honestly a shot at Dabo, man. They say that man don't want to, do the whole portal thing or whatnot. He got to get with the times and get out, man. You see what we're typing now.
Listen, we've been preaching that in these pews on the Student of the Game for some time, my guy. Just saying.
What's up, Bell?
Steve could tell you, Shark can tell you, I have been dubbed in other shows the architect of the Bing, and whenever I do a shameless plug, it's usually followed by a bing. So people
sounds good.
They're like, hey, listen, when you get sick, we've heard it lose quality. So when you do inevitably get sick because you got 2 small kids, there you go. You got the machine.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. Any more flowers?
Flowers to the ACC for providing comic relief this weekend. I think that's appropriate, except for the Canes, of course. All
right, man. Let's get right on into it, man. Kyle, you are up first with your Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 minutes on the clock. Let us know what's up with the Jags, man.
Listen, straight up, I know everybody's going to, if you come at the beginning of the story of the offseason, you're going to like, why didn't you pay Calvin Ridley? I don't know, dropping touchdowns. Maybe got a little old for him to get the entire bag, and now he's going somewhere. Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. Anyways, so you may think that number 0, Gabe Davis, is the true Calvin Ridley replacement, and that's cool. I think it's nice to have Gabe Davis in here throwing some blocks on the outside to come in from Buffalo. And listen, 1 in every 6 catches is a touchdown, 1 in every 11 targets is a touchdown. But please tell me why he's a problem and what he got paid. But that's all. Hey, by the way, not the actual Calvin Ridley replacement. I don't care if he wears 0 or not. Brian Thomas Jr. getting drafted out of LSU is looking precisely electric here in the preseason. He's already cracked the top 3 receiver board. You'll see him a lot across from Christian Kirk, who looks just as healthy as ever, getting ready to take the field. Don't forget Evan Ingram. I know I did throughout the preseason. They caught 2 touchdown passes. And then Travis Etienne with an upgraded offensive line. Granted, I have my questions about the interior on the inside, but listen, acquiring Mitch Morse from Buffalo is a big deal there too. An upgrade over Luke Fortner, but the question will be, is that enough with Anton Harris on the outside at the tackle position? And listen, Trevor Lawrence got paid. And for those of you complaining out there, just wait till you see what CJ Stroud's contract's about to be. And let's not talk about Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins getting paid. But enough about that. The defense is the real noise here, folks. Eric Armstead coming in. He might be playing some D-end as well, but we'll know he's a big D-tackle threat there, too. Look for Trayvon Walker to continue build after being the first overall pick a couple years back. And Josh Hines-Allen, another man getting the bag. That defensive front, after having the best duo in sacks last year, just found a way to upgrade. It's something that the Duval devout out there are incredibly excited about. The linebacker core still trying to get figured out, but Foye Oluokun got his money as well. No one's talking about that. Dude's only been top 5 in tackles the past 3 years, but hey, whatever. Let's not count him. His name's difficult to pronounce, right? Then, of course, you have Devin Lloyd at linebacker alongside of Chad Muma. I'll admit that's the part of the defense I'm not super excited about. That's fine. Tyson Campbell, one corner, he got the bag there too. But then you got a cavalcade of veterans coming in. Darnell Savage, Darby's coming. You got Ron Darby coming in. A lot of experience to help account for the losses and nice draft picks. DeAndre Prince, Jarian Jones. Okay, I know FSU's not doing great, but he looked like an awesome prospect to make a little bit of noise in the preseason. And of course, Andre Cisco, who says to quarterbacks, you can't throw it long. It's a whole thing. This team is revamped to a pretty healthy place. And listen, if they can protect Trevor Lawrence for 30 seconds and okay, maybe not 30, maybe just 5, but still from the interior offensive line and make Travis Etienne great again, you might have a shocking little thing that looked more like the 22 Jags than the 23 Jags.
All right. And that kind of leads into my first question, because I know that in the public eye, Trevor Lawrence has kind of gotten a bad rap with that season last year. And I look at it as an outlier, because if we really want to be real, Trevor Lawrence has kind of had a bad rap since he got in the league. Mm-hmm. He had to deal with that disaster that is Urban Meyer for a year. And then he's had, I believe this will be his 3rd season with Doug P. So I just look at last season as kind of an outlier. So do you think that this season potentially is where Trevor Lawrence finally puts it all together and establishes himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the league?
Trevor, as you come in, you sound like my favorite Chinese philosopher. You know ball, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Trevor Lawrence's issues may be issues, but to judge him off of this past year is absolutely ridiculous. There's a reason why he suffered 3 injuries. And listen, maybe not try to be such an Iron Man all the time. I get it. After an 8-3 start, the drop-off for the rest of the year. The only game the Jags won is the one where Trevor Lawrence didn't start. That's a horrible look. By the way, though, that's not the extent of the injuries, folks. The offensive line that the Jags intend to start with this year was only assembled one time last year, Week 18. Getting them to gel over this offseason, I think, is going to be incredibly important. Getting some action on the outside to better protect. No disrespect to Zay Jones, but he's not Gabe Davis in terms of size, okay? That team was a size deficiency compared to this year's core. Everybody's pretty much tall. I know, let's just put it this way. Christian Kirk is the anomaly, being the short kind of Steve Smith, shuck and jive cut receiver type, route runner type, when you have taller guys like BTJ who came in. And then, of course, let's not forget Evan Ingram, because to do so would be a crime against humanity. I look for another career year from him, from this guy, Trevor Lawrence. Apparently, all he does is help people have career years, but we don't need to talk about that. All we got to do is complain about his contract money when Jared freaking Goff is getting paid. But enough about that.
All right. Anybody else has a question?
I got a question. So you mentioned the receivers, right? Actually, I got 2 questions. The first question is, you mentioned the receivers. Who is y'all true number 1 wide receiver? Because when I look at y'all depth chart, I see a bunch of number 2s, just in my opinion. Gabe Davis is getting paid like a number 1, but I'm not really sure if he is actually a number 1 receiver. And my second question is, Travon Walker was the number 1 overall pick a few seasons back over Aiden Hutchinson. Is there any kind of regret? If you would able to do that draft again, would you pick Aiden Hutchinson over Travon Walker?
I wouldn't, simply because of the other things that Travon Walker can do. Yes, obviously Aiden Hutchinson's sack numbers are higher, okay? But let's be clear about another thing too. Aiden Hutchinson rushes the quarterback every time. Earlier in his rookie year, they were moving him around, kind of trying to get him involved on the inside. This is a versatile piece to the puzzle. And now that he's in a space where they're really kind of figuring out what they want to do with him, he got 10 sacks last year. There's a lot of talk that may increase. And by the way, having Josh Hines-Allen on the other side might help that. Having Eric Armstead in the middle might help that. Having Devon Hamilton back from injury and a full defensive line, the likes of which they actually intended, might improve that. Now, I get it. Titans. There is one place I'm not going to diss you guys. Y'all got a hell of a receiver core built. I'm going to dance with it. It's exciting to see. Now we'll get to more of my issues with the team in the passing game later, but I have plenty of jokes coming for that, as I warned y'all. But yeah, no, I can get from where you're sitting who was the number one. But I would ask you, gentlemen, I'm wearing my Greek hat here with my Greek flag symbol and all this. I'll go Socratic and answer a question with the question. Who was their number one receiver in 22? You know, the year they made the playoffs. Because we know Calvin Ridley was last year, and he had an awful lot of drop touchdown passes. I'm not saying it was Kansas City Chiefs bad. It was just the next one on the list as far as the receiver core with drops goes. So that all being said, I don't. That's an excellent question. Who is the number one? I kind of think it's positionless, from a matter of speaking. Listen, Dougie P is going to see what you run. He's going to pencil whip you and dare you to cover everybody. Who knows? There may be games where it's Evan Ingram. There may be games where it's Travis Etienne, because they actually blocked on the inside and they can get him out there in the wheel route. You never know. I definitely see where that question comes from. You know, who knows? I wrote an article on Jaguars on SI that T. Higgins should be a target maybe for that, but that didn't happen. The Bengals somehow held on to him. We all thought he was gone. Am I right? So
I got a question about Trevor Lawrence. I like to call him Sunshine. Been calling him Sunshine since Clemson.
Hey, you ain't the only
shout out to that rep. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy, and I feel like last year was definitely a somewhat of a setback for him. But however, he was still top 10 with 4,000 yards in throwing yards. So my question to you, even though that is true, is Trevor Lawrence really a top 10 point guard? God damn, I've been 3 the hard way. Top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
And listen, I think he manages games well for the most part too. Call him a point guard. I'm not offended. Listen, he's a better point guard than Russell Wilson at this point, right? And no disrespect to Russell Carrington Wilson, but your time has passed, sir. Punchline being this.
I'm waiting on the Justin Fields era.
Agreed.
I didn't think we were unique in that, gentlemen.
If he can't go into Atlanta with everything that's going to be against him and win that game, yeah, I'm ready for the Justin Fields era to start.
Hey, listen, I'm with you on that. But listen, to bring it back with Trevor, I get there being the perception of a setback, but you know who really let him down? It wasn't Dougie P. It wasn't the receivers, the things that have been asked about so far. That offensive line was a mash unit. And oh, by the way, Cam Robinson to start the year was suspended 4 games. So you wonder how he got hurt. Well, that first injury probably came from a little of that. The guards did him no favors. Luke Fortner was ranked 33 last year out of 32 NFL teams where he was a starter. Just put it together where they were struggling in the interior, gentlemen. That had something to do with it. I know it's easy to forget the beef, but let me show my Aaron Evans original painting commission to commemorate my time in the trenches. I'll make sure you're aware of that news. Holla at me.
I got a question. All right, Christian Kirk helped me win a fantasy championship last year. Is he a good fantasy option this year?
So he's going to be a good fantasy option depending on week to week. I would not make him your number one. I did not expect fantasy questions, but here we are. I would not make him your number one guy for anything week to week and expect him to get that, simply because with this group, with BTJ augmenting things, with Gabe Davis on there too, I think he's going to be a touchdown stealer, right? If they don't finish the job, they're going to go to him in the red zone or Evan Ingram. There's only one rock. And there's going to be some weeks where Kirk will get you some big runs and get you some yards. You just got to be wary of which teams are best equipped to take the game away from Christian Kirk. And I think you got to kind of move around and be smart with where you place him accordingly. Can he get you points? Yes. Will he be a league leading prospect by any stretch of the imagination? Unless you have a PPR league, you might have some weeks where he gets a gaggle of catches to save you with a few points to make it worthwhile. But I would not think he is a strong option there, too. Maybe a sleeper type if you get him in the later rounds.
Cool. Any more questions for Kyle? All right, I'm ready to see your predictions, man, for sure. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it for sure. Because I still don't know my predictions. That's why I kind of just listen to y'all and kind of make up mine as they go. So I'm ready to see.
Man, if you got the opportunity to sit back, do it. I'm with it. I do that all the time.
Absolutely, I'm chilling.
I'm going to do that tomorrow night, waiting for people to make their picks and make my assumption on the Student of the Game podcast. I got my final season prediction.
Damn, Pat.
I love it.
I love this guy, man. All right, let's get into, of course, we got, like I said, 17, 18, 19, 20 Titans fans already on here, but we will only have one speaking about the Titans officially. Marako, what we got about the Titans, man? 2-minute drill, 2 minutes on the clock, man. Let's get it.
All right, so you already know what's up with the Titans, man. All eyes on Will Levis. That's what the theme was of this offseason. Trying to see whether Will Levis is the guy or not. And the Titans, they straight up flipped the roster. I mean, no more Derrick Henry, no more Ryan Tannehill. I mean, it's a whole new group of characters here, and no more Malik Willis. I mean, got traded to Green Bay. Shout out to Malik. Hope everything goes well with him. But in the quarterback room now, we got Will Levis, Mason Rudolph. Running backs, hey, we got y'all hometown hero in the building too, man. Tony Pollard. He gonna be joining Tajay Spears and Julius Chestnut and wide receivers. And I gotta push back on Kyle for a second when it comes to one of these wide receivers. I think you know who I'm gonna talk about. But right. But before we get to him, man, we just gotta acknowledge that Tyler Boyd, man, he's one of the most consistent guys in the slot. I'm happy he's here in Tennessee. We brought back another consistent guy as well, who Titans fans, they starting to love him now. They starting to appreciate Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Now with Traylon Burks, we need to see Traylon Burks stay healthy, and we need to see him productive. If not, hey, adios. And got Jaquan Jackson, which a lot of Titan fans, they were mad because we didn't draft Malik Washington, who was there, but I wasn't tripping about that. I mean, I looked at Jaquan Jackson's tape. I said, this dude right here could be something. Now Titan fans are in love with Jaquan Jackson. He hasn't even played a regular season game yet. But Calvin Ridley, okay, so Kyle brings up the fact that Calvin Ridley had some drops in Jacksonville, which no one likes drops. I understand that. But at the same time, drops get glorified when other things are going wrong. And if you look at the leaders in drops in the NFL from 2023, you want to tell me who's number one on the list and number two? Anybody know?
Are you talking about teams or single players?
Single players.
Okay. Kadarius Toney got to be up there.
Yeah.
Number one is Puka Nacua on that list with 13 drops, and number two is Tyreek Hill with 12 drops. When you talk about those two wide receivers, do you talk about drops?
You do not. Good point.
My point exactly. And just to, name some other names on this list. At number 7, we got Stephon Diggs. We got Amon St. Brown. We got my guy, Gangsta Gibbs, on the list. We got Travis Kelce on the list. We got Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Evan Ingram, former teammate of Calvin Ridley. We got A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Austin Eckler, and at number 23, we got Calvin Ridley. So this whole thing about drops, I'm not concerned about Calvin Ridley's drops because of the simple fact that there was a lot of other things going on in Jacksonville. And, those drops only get glorified when something else is going wrong. And plus, two, those drops get glorified when the wide receivers aren't getting the targets. Now, we're going to talk about offensive line for a second because, as you know, the offensive line last year was atrocious. And that's just me putting it nicely. Andre Dillard, out of here. In comes J.C. Latham. If you watch college football, you know where J.C. Latham comes from. It was this whole thing about, well, he's a right tackle. Well, he played left tackle in high school. And let me talk to y'all about that as well, because some people seem to think that this man played high school football up the streets down where just any old, school in some backwoods. No, he played with one of the top high schools in the nation. The guy knows what he's doing, and you've seen that throughout the preseason. I mean, granted, you got the whole video where Tajay Spears pushes him over or whatever, trying to, get upfield. But JC even joked about that, man. He said, man, my fat ass was in the way, so it's all good. And then we got Peter Skoronski, man. Jeffrey Simmons, he gave Peter Skoronski a lot of love last week on 104.5 The Zone, man. He was talking about, Peter's growth. Peter's come in, and Peter is producing, man. So I'm looking for a big season out of Peter. I'm also looking for a big season out of Lloyd Cushenberry, one of the top centers from free agency. Lloyd Cushenberry, he's come in, and did you see him spear that guy in the Saints game, preseason game? I mean, my God, man. I thought it was Roman Reigns out there sitting box or whatever, man. I mean, he straight up put dude on his ass, man. But Dylan Raiders and right guard, and Dylan Raiders is another dude who Jeff Simmons gave praise to, man. I mean, this offensive line is coming together quite nicely, man. And what else do you expect, man? I mean, Bill Callahan, man, the legend, man. I mean, if you suck under Bill Callahan, man, look, he's not going to have you around if you suck, most definitely. But for Bill Callahan to say that trust these guys right here, hey, I'm looking for that offensive line to protect Will Levis this year, man. I'm looking for Will Levis to show people that he is the one that the Colts should have drafted at number 4 last year. But, oh, hell, look at him, man.
Absolutely not.
Jeez. Well, right, we're going to let you talk your talk about Anthony Richardson here in a second, man. But defense, man. Ryan, you already know, man. Defense last year, oh, my God. I mean, every single week we complain about Mike Vrabel, Shane Bowen, the cornerbacks playing 10 yards off their man, giving up 3 yards, couldn't get any pressure. It's not going to be the case this season, man. I mean, we got some guys who like to get in people's faces, and they like to mug the shit out of them, man. L'Jarius Sneed, I know some people have some things to say about L'Jarius Sneed, but my thing about L'Jarius Sneed is you do not go up against all those legitimate number 1 wide receivers and straight up shut them down without you being a dog. And that's exactly what L'Jarius Sneed is. He is a dog, and I'm looking for him to continue being a dog with the Tennessee Titans. And we also got Chidobe Awuzie, which, is a solid cornerback. I was happy when we got him, but I was looking for more, and we got L'Jarius Sneed. So, hey, and they're going to be joining Roger McQuarrie, a young up-and-coming cornerback, probably one of the few bright spots in the secondary from last season. Roger McQuarrie, I mean, he's scrappy as hell. I mean, even if he gets a play made on him, Roger McQuarrie will be there. You don't have to worry about Roger McQuarrie trailing his dude by 5 yards and any of that. He's always going to be right there on his dude's hip. Now, moving along to linebacker. Some Titan fan had some things to say about Kenneth Murray Jr. They said he was dumb. They said he was stupid. They said he ran around like a chicken with his head cut off. And I said, hold on. Y'all not finna sit up here and talk about this man like that. Let me look at some tape of him. And I seen, some tape of him, and I was like, well, I mean, it wasn't as bad as they was making it, but this man has came in here and they named him the captain. And our new defensive coordinator, Denard Wilson, has not only given him the green dot, he's given him the green light, meaning you go and do what you do. If you make a mistake, we'll correct it. But, hey, we want you to go out there and play free. And he's leading the defense right now, man. I mean, those guys look to him for, any little thing or whatnot. And we also just made a trade for one of the best up-and-coming linebackers in Ernest Jones Jr., man. Ernest Jones Jr., this guy right here, I think is going to be a top linebacker in the league this season. That's my hot take. He's going to be a top linebacker in the league this season right here because of the simple fact that, and I'm going to keep it all the way simple, man. Aaron Donald, when he hung it up, he told him, man, hey, this is your defense now. He told Jones that Rams defense is yours, man. 24 years old. I mean, got the soul of an old man, man. But he's out there flying around making plays. So don't get it twisted, man. But Trevondre Sweat, the big guy, man. They got Big Jeff some help, man. That was one thing that I wanted this offseason. I said, get Big Jeff some help, man. I mean, I just couldn't just sit up and watch another defensive tackle just, get out there and just get, double team, triple team, just because there's nobody else around him. We saw that with Jarrell Casey. Ryan, you know how Jarrell Casey used to wreck them games and whatnot. They used to double and triple team this dude. Well, they got Big Jeff some help in T Sweat, man, and you can't sit up and double team all game long. I mean, if you can try, but guess what? You're going to be leaving Harold Landry out there one-on-one or running free. And we know Harold Landry, given the opportunity, if placed in the right spot, he will make some plays. But that's all I got, man. If I missed anything, man, you can ask me a question about it.
See, I got to come in here with this, and see, here's the thing. I had jokes lined up to ask questions about the Mayonnaise Messiah. I was going to come in here and be, listen, as the man of a lighter heel on this panel, I'm supposed to talk about mayonnaise, so I'll talk about the Mayonnaise Messiah and what mistakes he might make and all this other stuff. But you went with Calvin Ridley. Here's the thing. This could work against a lesser man, but me, the student of the game, who does data for a living by day, you come out here with these numbers. Now,
let's go.
That's ain't gonna work. Those names you cited, Tyreek Hill, for example. You know who also led the league in targets? Tyreek Hill.
I know. I know where you were gonna go. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you know, then why you don't drop bad stats. If you don't want bad stats called out, if you know.
No, it's all good. It's all good because see, I knew you were gonna mention the targets, and here goes the thing: you got to stay on the field to get the targets, in which we saw Jacksonville's offense on the back half of the season. I mean, shoot, look at that Week 18 game against the Titans. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he couldn't hit the side of a barn, but yet y'all complain about Calvin Ridley and drop passes.
He was also running for his life. I mean, listen, if you're going to be on here and prop Big Sims, you got to get Big Simmons.
I was just about to say, yeah.
So come on now. Work with me on this. That being said, I love how you shout out Skronsky too, and that O-line improving. That's going to be a big deal about it. I'm not going to just bring problems. I'm going to bring solutions. I'm going to tell you what it is. But listen, there was enough wrong with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor wasn't it. That's what I keep trying to tell people. But please, you gave respect to the offensive line. You gave respect to Big Simmons. Come on now.
Man, look, man, I'll tell you this about the Jacksonville's offensive line, man. I mean, I didn't think much of it going into the season, but I understand that, there were some injuries, there were some other things that went on or whatnot. And, man, Jacksonville this year, if Jacksonville don't get it together this season right here, y'all probably going to have to make some big changes. I'm not saying fire the coach. I'm not saying you damn sure not going to bench the quarterback after you just paid him. That right there would be a horrible ass look. But Jacksonville may have to reshuffle some things if this doesn't go right for them this year.
I can't disagree with that.
I do want to say one thing to Kyle's point as far as like with Calvin Ridley. the issue I don't think was the drops. It was when the drops happened.
There you go.
Ridley had 8 touchdowns this season, and he dropped probably like 3 or 4 touchdowns. Like that's the issue that I've seen a lot of Jaguars fans have, is that it wasn't necessarily the 6 drops. It was these passes hit your hands in the end zone and you didn't come up with them. That's the issue, where you could have had about 13 touchdowns and you ended up with 8. It's those issues, I think, with Calvin Ridley, from the Jaguars fans, from their perspective. And I mean, again, too, like what Kyle said, the targets, like Tyreek Hill had 170 targets or something like that.
Near that, yeah.
Yeah, and then some of the other receivers, they had way more than Calvin Ridley did as well. So it's just those things that I mean, the drops are cool. You said he was like 23rd or something like that in the league in drops. Yeah, but I think if those targets were a little bit more, you might have seen more drops, which puts him up into that topper echelon of drops. And then just the yardage wasn't there. Like Tyreek had 1,800 yards. It's just a multitude of things when it comes to that. But I mean, Calvin is a good addition for y'all.
Calvin one place, C-Lou, because if I'm going to call out my brother in Christ here about the drops, I do have to be fair. A lot of his yardage isn't accounted for in receiving yards because he was really good at dropping DPIs. So
for sure.
We got to do that, full disclosure. Matter of fact, in the name of continuing to bring solutions and not problems, I think your coaching staff may have the opportunity to better utilize Calvin Ridley for what he truly is, and not a number 1 receiver.
That's a fact too.
Yeah, most definitely, because I know, like I mentioned earlier, Jacksonville, they had some injuries down the stretch. Calvin Ridley couldn't really move around like he would like to move around throughout the offense. If the Titans stay healthy for the most part, when it comes to wide receiver, he'll be able to move around because, you got a D-Hop who can play in the slot. You got Tyler Boyd who can line up on the outside. You got Nick Westbrook-Akina who can line up in the slot and on the outside. I wish I could put Traylon Burks in this mix, and even though he played in the slot in Arkansas, but Jesus Christ, Traylon Burks, man, he really soured on me this last preseason game, man. I mean, I'm to the point with Traylon now, like, it's time for you to shit or get off the pot.
All right.
Speaking of the Mayonnaise Messiah, I had a question about him. That's a hilarious name, by the
way. Touring the AFC South. That's his. I got that from him.
Shout out to you. But I wanted to ask you this, man. So let's see. The Titans finished 6-11 last season. What will it take for you to be comfortable with giving him the franchise, the keys to the franchise? I should say, like, another 6-11 season, 8 and whatever.
I think he got it now, just based on the moves that they made.
That's what I'm saying. But like, say hypothetically, what if next season he comes back on the pod and the Titans are still 6-11? Will he still have the keys to the franchise, or will the Titans have another quarterback?
Okay, so I'm gonna say this right here, and that's actually a good question because there's been some stats out there about the Titans that Titan fans are trying to put to rest. I mean, there's this whole stat about the Titans not scoring 30 points since 2021 or some shit. And then there's this whole thing about the 4,000-yard passer, in which I'm more concerned about the 30 points per game because you need to score at least 25 points per game to contend with some of these upper echelon teams.
No, you was right the first time, 30.
You think 30? I give
Mahomes. He dropped out. He was saying something about
he dropped out. He was saying Mahomes, but
average. But Patrick LaVon Mahomes II is not average. I feel you would
I give him 20. I give 25 because Mahomes is one of one.
He is not average, correct.
But anyway, man, I'm more concerned about the Titans scoring more points this year than I am about the 4,000 yard thing, because the 4,000 yards, he can go out there and throw for 4,000 yards, and Titans fans would still want him gone after next season if that touchdown to interception ratio isn't on point. I know everybody remembers the season that Jameis Winston went out there and threw 30 touchdowns, like 5,000 yards and 30 interceptions. So, I mean, I feel my fellow Titan fans when they talk about the 4,000 yards. I would like to see Levis throw for over 4,000 yards too. But I want to see the Titans score at least 25 points per game, and I want Will Levis to at least go out there and have a significantly, how can I say this? I want him to go out there and have way more touchdowns than interceptions.
And I'm gonna be clear, because I think I was out. I didn't say Mahomes was average. I was saying he's walking in the stadium averaging 30. So if you're trying to be upon the upper echelon of the teams in the AFC or even the NFL, you got to be able to score 30.
Yeah, but you have to think you do, in which 25 points per game. I think there's some 30-point games in there somewhere if you do the numbers or whatnot.
Nah, it's 30 north of almost close to 40. 25 may get you 4 or 5. Trust me, I know. As a Steelers fan that has won games 10-3. Trust me, I know.
Why, dude? You got something there, man. I was going to say the Titans. I was going to say the Titans defense, man. I don't look for them to give up many points this year, but I mean, hell, score all the points you can score, man. Most definitely. But coming from what did we score last season? Around like 17 points per game.
We were around the same. Both our teams were around 17 per game.
Yeah, I would say 25 for the Titans. Would be good.
I got you.
I would say 25 for the Titans, because we got to understand it. It's going to be a brand new offense and whatnot. I'm not coming out here looking for them to go light up the scoreboard every single week, because
of course
they're going to be running the football more than what some people think, and they've been talking about running the ball more this week right here. Now, there could be this thing where, I mean, it could be some gamesmanship involved or whatnot, but I don't think they're sitting up here lying about running the football, because the last thing you want to do is go into a hostile environment trying to throw the ball around 30, 40 times a game behind a brand new offensive line that's still trying to gel.
Got it.
Ryan, I'm asking you the same question before we move on.
I was just gonna message you, but yeah, I would say this with Levis. The main thing with me is you need to see improvement. You know, as far as just overall, because remember, he only started 8-9 games last year. It's not like he got the full rookie experience, like a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud. He kind of came in only because Tannehill got hurt. So mainly the main thing is, for me to say, here you go, here's the keys, I would need to see improvement as far as like his completion percentage. It needs to be in the 70s. I need to see kind of, to Big M's point, more touchdowns than interceptions. And also, just from a record standpoint, you can't do 6-11.
Nah. That's my floor for them, 6-11. But let me shut up about the predictions.
Yes, I would probably say if you can win more than 6 games, maybe 7 games, 8 games, 9 games, somewhere around there. If you can win that many games with the new cast of characters that you brought in, the new weapons that you brought in on offense, the improved offensive line, the new coaching staff, the new O-line coach, things like that, you should be able to win more than 6 games. If you win 6 games or less, then you might have to reevaluate that quarterback position going into the 2025 offseason.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And I'll add this too as well before we move along. I want to see Will Levis be a better decision maker this year. I mean, I want to see him taking more checkdowns when he has to run the football, I want to see him slide. Like, unless you're at the goal line and, you know, it's third down and you got to make a play, I mean, go do what you do. But, I mean, other than that, don't take a bunch of crazy hits, man, because we got to preserve you for the long run. Lord knows I do not want to see Mason Rudolph in the regular season.
Hey, I'm going to double down with this, okay? Listen, the way that he's an Instagram model and flexing all the time, he better knock somebody over on occasion. Throw that.
I mean, you know, it's going to happen, but I'm not advocating for him to go out there and just Jalen Ramsey dudes left and right.
Punish responsibly. I got you.
Right.
There you go. I think that's good. All right.
I just want to say, man, good luck to the Titans. I don't know why it just seemed like me, my team, the Panthers, and y'all are kind of like in the same boat in a weird way. It's like we expecting a lot. We got a lot. We did a lot over the offseason to make our teams better, but we just need to see it, especially within our quarterback. So I kind of put us in the same boat. So, hey, man, Big M, appreciate it, man. Great talks. Of course, we're going to do our predictions real soon. But last but not least, we got our guy C-Lou, man. C-Lou, what's going on with them coaches?
On Indy.
What's up, man? Yeah, so it ain't really much. You know, we didn't do a lot in the offseason. We brought our guys back. We re-signed Grover Stewart. We re-signed what's his name? Kenny Moore Jr. We re-signed Michael Pittman Jr. That was the big one. You know, we got JT back last year. We re-signed him, or we extended him. But this year we didn't have no off-season drama. Like, we didn't have the drama leading up to the season like we did last year with JT. And the elephant in the room, you know, JT and AR only played like 2 or 3 snaps together. And, you know, then AR went out. So now he's back. He's back healthy. We got a healthy JT this year going into the season. And, you know, the 2 biggest additions to me was Adonai Mitchell and Liatu Latu. Those were the 2 biggest additions to this team that I feel like can take us to another level. When you have JT and AR, that gives you an explosive run game, an explosive offense in the backfield. And then you add the pass rush. We had like 50 sacks last year, but sometimes the sacks, they didn't come when we needed to get off the field. They came like in the early downs, the first and second downs. They didn't come on the third downs and stuff like that. But I think with Liatu Latu, like, you add his skill set that he brings, it makes for a whole different story. And then, you know, it frees up things with DeForest Buckner. And I don't know if any of y'all watched this during the preseason, but Latu was getting double teamed and triple teamed on the defensive line, like as a rookie in the preseason. And we're still able to get back to the quarterback and get some pressure on the quarterback. So imagine what that does with DeForest Buckner in the middle, Grover Stewart in the middle pushing the pocket, and, you know, Latu coming off the edge. And then Quiddy looks more explosive off the edge as well. The biggest thing for me is our secondary. I got to see how our second-year players, Jalen Jones and Juju Brents, I got to see how they come back this year. I mean, they got a lot of experience last year. Juju got hurt at some point last year, so he missed some time in camp last year and stuff like that. But this is second year in Gus Bradley's defense. We saw Kenny Moore in his second year in Gus Bradley's defense, able to move around a little bit more, roam freely, play more instinctive. And so that's what I'm hoping from our young secondary too. And then Nick Cross is back there at our free safety starting this year. And I think they're going to do a lot of things with him and Julian Blackman where they just kind of interchange him. Like Julian's the strong safety, Cross is the free safety. But I think sometimes they're going to drop Julian back there free and bring Cross up to the line, where I think that's his strong suit. So I'm interested to see what our defense does. It's going to be a big test week 1 and week 2, to be honest. So I'm interested to see what they look like. But I think everything else falls in line. Our defensive line, like I said, if we can get home, that helps out our secondary. And having continuity, like I know a lot of people be like, oh, y'all didn't make no moves. Y'all didn't do this. Y'all didn't do that. But letting players actually develop and getting that chemistry with each other, that goes a long way as well. And I don't think a lot of people really and it's a lot of people that never played football that don't really understand things like that and how the locker room gels together. So it's just things like that. But, you know, we ain't do much, man. We made some moves. We did what we needed to do. And now it's time to line up and see what happens.
See, look, y'all were definitely quiet. Like, y'all was super quiet in the offseason. But I think to your point about the chemistry thing, like, that matters. Like, not having to do much, you know, go ahead and get a player to fill in a weakness, a gap here and there. You know, that's what the line's did over the last couple of years, and we see how they looking.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting high hopes for the Colts as well. I want to talk and see, what are your expectations? Just, even though 3 snaps is very little, just talk about like the explosiveness and, getting close to maybe that 25, 30 points y'all was just talking about. What are you expecting offensively, I guess, points wise to kind of simplify that question?
Yes, I mean last year we had like 24. We was averaging like 24.9 points per game last year.
25. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm expecting us to be more explosive because again, JT missed 7 games last year. He played one game or played a couple games after that first 4 where he was on IR, and then he went out with a thumb injury. So and then of course the elephant in the room, AR. He has to stay healthy. I think if he stays healthy and he learns how to slide, he learns how to get down, get out of bounds, whatever he needs to do to preserve his body, then our offense can be very explosive, especially with Shane. Like the thing is, in Shane we trust. Like we were able to average. I think we were one of the last teams to score 30 points in it, in consecutive games or something like that. And so that's why I say in Shane we trust, because a lot of that was with Gardner Minshew, who's now with the Raiders. And what he did last year. So like for us, we just got to stay healthy. I feel like we could probably hit between 25, 30 points per game this year. I think we'll be more explosive. Somewhere maybe in like the 27-point range, to be honest.
I'm really hoping so, because AR is my QB1 in fantasy this year. I mean, everybody else is pretty solid, but I'll just say, for lack of a better term, my QB room is youthful.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, y'all gripe at it, but AR was one of the top quarterbacks in fantasy last year because of what he can do with his legs and everything. So, he scored 7 touchdowns in 4 games, and leaving out of the majority of them early. So that's
I'm happy Trevor you said that, because I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. You drafted it came around, you drafted before me, and I was going quarterback. You drafted Anthony Richardson over Joe Burrow. So I guess to ask you, Silu, like, was that a mistake for him? Should he have drafted Burrow, or do you think Anthony Richardson really could be that kind of quarterback?
I mean, for fantasy purposes, it's different, right? Because fantasy, you're not really worried about the win-loss record. You're worried about what the quarterback's doing. And with a quarterback like Anthony Richardson, he adds another dynamic to that quarterback play. Like, he's not only going to throw passing touchdowns, he's also going to get rushing yards. He's going to get rushing touchdowns. Joe Burrow, he's not. He can run a little bit, but it's mostly he's doing everything with his arm. So with AR,
in the AFC North, they don't protect Joe Burrow. So.
Yeah, that too, they don't protect him, and we've seen Joe Burrow leave seasons very early, multiple times a year. So I mean, but that's the biggest thing with AR, just staying healthy. If he stays healthy, then as a fantasy quarterback, I think he's going to be legit.
Yeah. I'm just glad we're done talking about Lamar Demetrius Jackson is injury prone now. That's all I'm saying. We've been talking a lot about AR, and rightly so, but you've got the insurance policy in the form of a backup quarterback that's so good. Flacco. Yeah, exactly. And a backup quarterback that's so good that he stole the comeback player of the year from a guy that defying death. The Buffalo Bills are starting a bleeding zombie, but this guy gets comeback player of the year. Anyways, we see you have that plan. It reminds me, for old hats like me, of Mike Vick and Matt Schaub, that kind of 1-2 punch. It's not if, but when AR is going to miss games, just because I don't think he's had enough time to learn it all that. But here's my question, Silu. The handcuff I have to Colts success is JT as an MVP, if not at least a top 3 candidate as an MVP player, to get some of that balance, to balance that load. Do you see that?
No, because they don't give MVP to anybody else but quarterbacks. So I don't think he's going to even be in that conversation. But I think JT puts himself back on the map, because I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about him, and rightfully so. The last 2 seasons, he's dealt with some injuries. But I think a lot of people have forgotten about him as one of the top running backs in the NFL. And I think this year AR is going to open up a lot of things for JT. He like that, and that's the thing too, where having AR back there, it opens up a lot for JT. So I feel like he's going to put himself back on the map. But I mean, I don't think JT has to have an MVP season for us to have success. I think we have enough talent on the offense that we can be successful. And then, like I said, our defensive line, where I feel like our defensive line will help us in a lot of these games as well.
Hey, by the way, how great a division is this for defensive tackles, fellas? Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
See, Lou, I got a couple of questions. So, mentioning AR, and I feel like, to me, last year, I felt like they tried to use AR kind of similar to Cam Newton or modern day Josh Allen. And I feel like that was kind of some of the issues of him staying healthy, because they trying to turn him into a power quarterback instead of just, letting him develop as a passer and then use him as a runner as a luxury. Is there going to be a different game plan for Anthony Richardson as far as the offensive strategy going into 2024? And also, my second question is, Chris Ballard, I jokingly say that Chris Ballard is like Diet John Robinson, our old Titans GM. How do you feel about Chris Ballard and the way he has kind of built this roster? And do you see him staying the GM for the foreseeable future?
So I'm about Chris Ballard. I mean, he ain't dying John Robinson because he's not trading away a top 10 receiver in the league. So we're gonna put that out there. He ain't gonna do that. He's gonna keep his guys at home. But I mean, as far as the way he's built the roster, like, he's built it for the long haul. And I mean, I'm not upset with the way he's built the roster, but I'm more upset where, like, we have clear holes, and instead of addressing them when they need to be addressed, or at least getting veteran presence in there, as far as like whether they backups, whatever they need to be, you don't do that. I'm okay with going with the youth movement. I'm completely fine with that. But I would like to have a veteran DB that if one of the youth go down, because Juju hasn't really showed the ability to stay healthy either. So if one of the young corners go down, then we have a solid backup plan. Just like, with our quarterback, we have a solid quarterback as a backup plan in case AR goes down. That's where my issues lies with Chris Ballard. Like, you saw it in 2022 with our offensive line. And granted, it was really only one player that was ass, and that was Matt Pryor. Glad we got his ass up out of here, because that needed to be done. But that was an issue. As far as like him being the GM for the foreseeable future, yeah, I do think so, because I think Irsay really likes him as our GM. The biggest issue is I think Irsay also gives him a lot of grace just because of what happened with Andrew Luck 2019, just up and retiring. And when you have a roster that is, and that's the thing that I say about the Colts, like, everybody wants to shit on our roster, but our roster has kept us afloat when we were going through this quarterback purgatory. We weren't picking in the top 5. We weren't picking in the top 10. We was picking, 15 down. And that's because the roster was able to supplement the quarterback play. And then when we finally had a year where it's like, all right, well, we're here now. we're 4-12-1. It's time to go get a quarterback. We went and did that. A lot of our fan base is like, oh, well, he should have traded up. He should have did that. He should have did this. But it takes 2 to tango. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. It takes 2 to tango. We could call whoever we want and be like, hey, I want that pick from the Chargers, from y'all, so I can move up to get Justin Herbert. They could say hell nah and hang up the phone. The Giants did it to us this past draft. We was trying to move up to 6 or wherever the Giants was picking. The Giants said no. They said, I'm not calling him back. And they hung up the phone. That was on the Hard Knocks joint. So, it takes 2 to tango. Now, as far as AR, I don't think they tried to use him as a power rusher last year or like use him as Cam Newton. I think the thing is like they even Shane has said this. You don't cut Steph Curry off from shooting. You let Steph Curry shoot. That's one of his strengths. That's his strong suit. With AR, the big thing is they want to get him reps as a passer, and that's why in the preseason we didn't see AR run a lot. It was drop back and throw the ball, because they want to get him those reps as a passer. In the season, he's going to get those reps as a passer. He's going to continue to get those, but they're also going to use him running the ball. But his big ass needs to learn how to get down. Just like in the preseason, I don't know if y'all saw me tweet it out. It was 3rd and 15. He took off running and he took a hit. And I get it. Like, you've been gone for 9 months. You ain't played football in a long time. That first hit, you want to make sure, okay, let me see how I'm feeling. And so I get it. But bro, get your big ass down. You just came off a shoulder injury. Get your big ass down. We don't need no more of that. So hopefully in the preseason or in the regular season, he starts to take care of himself a little bit more out there on the field. And also the thing is just not having some of those freak accidents, like the him having his shoulder injury. That was just Harold Landry landing on top of him. Like, it wasn't really anything that like he didn't do anything necessarily wrong, but it was one of those things where you can tell he's kind of trying to give up his body, and then Harold just comes in. That was it. Like, that's just what happened. Now the one in the Texans game when he had the concussion, that was run through the goal line, bro. Like, just run through the goal line. You don't slow down going through the goal line because they still gonna try to take your head off. Run through the goal line and get to it. So it's just things like that I think he has to clean up. And with that, he's gonna be all right. He's gonna be straight. He got the shoulder fixed, and those surgeries usually help you. They help you, prolong your career. Jared Goff had one. Matthew Stafford had two, one on each shoulder. So I think he'll be all right. He gotta learn when to pick his battles. Just like you said with Will Levis, you got to pick your battles. You can't just run over everybody. I get it. You 6'4", 250. You feel like you can run through everything, but bro, there's other dudes on that other side of the ball that's as big as you. And they will try to run and knock your head off.
I know there's a deleted scene in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie where they tried to cast him as Juggernaut. So, I mean, I'll say this, too, about that hit in the preseason game, and I don't think this part's talked enough about it. That's why I bring it up, even though I'm not the Colts rep. I think he needed to knock somebody the hell out, though, one time at least, just to show Muggs, who was going to try him, that he ain't afraid. I think there's a mental aspect to that.
That could have been that too. Like, hey, look, I'm healthy. Look, boom, I can run through some shit.
Yes,
I'm healthy.
Oh man, see, you look good, Ish, man. Y'all got any more questions? All right, man. I actually got one more. I'm a huge fan of Zaire Franklin. I want to ask you about him real quick because even like somebody for me who's not the biggest football person, I understand a lot of things through fantasy, and he's definitely been my go-to as of the last couple of years for defensive player. And he ain't let me down yet. But when you talk about some of the top, linebackers in the league, he's not mentioned. What do you have to say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Zaire changes that this year. He's been getting a lot more recognition as of lately. Like, I've seen him on podcasts, not necessarily his own, but because him and EJ got their own thing going. But I've seen them on, talking to the national media, doing things with them. I think he's gonna get his recognition soon. I think this year he's put in the work as because the thing with Zaire is he's a great run defender. He was lacking in pass defense. But I think, like, I've seen some things over the preseason in the two games that he played that his pass defense has gotten a little, has gotten better. It's gradually getting better, especially in that defense that we're in with Gus Bradley. So I think this year he kind of puts the league on notice on who he is. He was second in the league in tackles last year. So I think he puts the league on notice. And shout out to Zaire because he followed your boy on Twitter. So shout out to him. Hey. Yeah, he be interacting with me a little bit. So shout out to Zaire for that.
Shout out to appreciate you. Good luck this season, big dog. Do your thing.
For sure, man. I need him to do. He's solid, and I mean, Titans fans know him well. Derrick Henry knows him well. He's solid, man.
Appreciate it. See. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all for checking in, man. 100+ people. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, of course. But appreciate y'all. Y'all could have been doing anything on a Tuesday, but y'all are rocking with us, and we appreciate it. Of course, we don't have a Texas fan on, but we do want to give them respect because apparently they are the runaway favorite to win in the division, and I definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts on whether that's either true or untrue and why.
Let me go first.
Yeah,
please go for it.
Yeah, let me go. Right on the head. I mean, it's so fitting that the Texan fan or whoever covers the Texans or whatever, it's so fitting that they didn't show up because I think the Texans fans and players as well, I think they're smelling their own shit and thinking it smells damn good right now. Because you got CJ, and I'm finna call him CJ Prescott. That's what I call him jokingly because that was his college comparison it was Dak Prescott.
That is true.
And all I called him was CJ Prescott, and Texan fans came after me. So, yeah, fuck it. CJ Prescott. He out here talking about he's a top 5 quarterback, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that. And I actually wanted to ask CeeLou about this right here, man. When are the Colts going to end this damn 10-year week 1 losing streak, man? Y'all got to end this shit this weekend, man. Y'all got to humble the fuck out these Texas fans because they're doing too much right now. They sitting up here talking about CJ Stroud and MVP and Stephon Diggs isn't a diva, in which they're going to find out the hard way. Stephon Diggs is very much a diva, and they're going to find out about these former Titan players, you know, Azeez Al-Shaair, who they think is a top linebacker just because he's with the Texans now. They're thinking Danico Autry is going to come back off of suspension and be the Danico Autry that he was when he was with Indy and Tennessee. I think Danico Autry, man, him getting popped or whatever, I think he's going to get exposed this season right here, man. The old age, man. The Texans, they about to get the worst version of Danico Autry, man. But I really don't think they're going to have the season that they think they're going to have. Yes, they're going to go to the playoffs. Hell, they may even win this division. But they're looking to go to an AFC championship game for the first time. Hell, some of them even hollering out Super Bowl. And none of that is going to happen, in my opinion, just for the simple fact that they can't beat Kansas City in a playoff game. Hell, they got shut out by Alex Smith by 30 in a playoff game in Houston, Texas. They can't beat the Ravens to save their lives. They've never won a road playoff game. So all of this hype about the Houston Texans and them going to a Super Bowl and them running all over this division, hey, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they're fighting for their life week 18 with the Titans.
So I'm gonna say this, and I mean I kind of do agree with you. I do think they win the division, but I don't think it's gonna be as pretty as everybody think it's gonna be. Like I think they're gonna be in a dog. I think this division is gonna be a dogfight. Like I'm gonna just put that out. With that. I think this division is gonna be a dogfight, but I think the Texans spent a lot of money this offseason, and sometimes that works out well, and sometimes that don't work out too well. And the thing is, like, they picked up a lot of players that was like not on their way out. I'm not gonna say on their way out of the league, but they're towards the tail end of their career. Joe Mixon, I mean, he was a good running back. I mean, he still is a pretty good running back, but again, like tail end of his career. Danico Autry. Like all these players they picked up, it's cool. You're gonna spend a lot of money. I get it, and that's the thing where I think you got to have a healthy balance. And they believe it's CJ Stroud. You know, while you have a young quarterback on the roster, you ain't paying him yet. Go out there and build up the roster and everything. But at the same time, you gotta line that thing up, and we're gonna see what happens when they line up week 1. The thing with the Texans, and I get it. Like we ain't won a week 1 in 10 years, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been crazy. But the thing is with the Texans, we always figure it out against them. Like it never fails. It don't matter how good they are. Even when they had Deshaun Watson and they was making these playoff runs and everything every year, we still, whether we handled business in the playoffs against them, because we done knocked them out the playoffs a few times. They done won the division. We done went on the wild card weekend and knocked their ass out the playoffs. So it's like, it's cool. It's cool. So, you know, I'm not worried about the Texans. I do think they win the division, but it's going to be a dogfight. They're gonna have to slug this thing out, and we're gonna see what they're made of.
Yeah, and another thing that we ain't mentioned yet, there's tape on CJ Stroud now.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I tried to get Texans fans to understand is that, listen, year 1, cool. He went out there and balled. He did his thing. And I like CJ. I think CJ is going to have a phenomenal career. But now there's tape on him. Now you get his tendencies. You get his wide receivers' tendencies. And the one thing they do say is when there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, when there's a lot of mouths to feed, that's when things start falling off. You have Dalton Schultz, you have Tank Dell, you got Nico, you got Stephon Diggs, and you got Joe Mixon. You got a lot of mouths to feed at this point.
You got a young quarterback who feeling himself. So
exactly.
I'm glad somebody mentioned
it's
the
interesting
personality aspect there too, because if y'all remember Cam Newton and Steve Smith button heads at some point there in Carolina, that can show you that sort of thing can happen to an old hat like Stephon Diggs and a young man like CJ Stroud, who I'm not saying he's Cam Newton flamboyant, but he's had some few things to say. Our blessed host points that out very nicely here in this particular instance. But listen, I'm not a guy that has any problem going against the grain with this particular point. Y'all talking about Dakota Stroud there, according to some.
I call him Daiquiri.
No,
I call him Daiquiri.
You gotta make it work. You're supposed to make it work, bro. So you gotta put it with CJ Stroud. But we got you.
Listen, my man had the better landing. I'm just paying tribute to him. See, that's all it is. I don't want to outplay the inventor of the chicken sandwich here. What are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why I went with chicken sandwich there, but anyways, let's like this. Here's where I'm going. We're talking about CJ Stroud and them having tape. Who knows? Maybe they have enough assets to augment the offense around any adjustments a defense will make. Okay, fine. Maybe there's harmony in the locker room and everything on the offense is working the way it can. Here's the part none of people are talking about, except other than me and actually CeeLou on the Student of the Game AFC South preview we did 2 weeks ago.
Hey, there we go.
Defensive tackle group is the weakest on this team. And a lot of points were made about linebackers now existing there on the Texans roster before. I feel like you can run on this football team in Houston. And here's what's going to really apply pressure to this offense. Fewer reps and opportunities. We talk about 25, 30 points a game. How do you do that when you're not on the field very long? And there's only one man in this AFC South, in my opinion, historically, that's ever actually done well with a reduced snap count. Yes, here's an opportunity for CeeLou to know up front I'm talking about one Peyton Williams Manning, okay? Then CJ Stroud ain't in that echelon yet. And listen, I'm not dissing Steve McNair. He was an excellent quarterback historically for this AFC South, but he didn't do it with minimal carries. I see somebody with Eddie George in the background there. Props to that as well. But all of the above saying this, if you keep this offense off the field, that's when they start to falter. And I think that's when some of these intangibles being start to be brought out with personalities and things like that. Because here's what I do know. And I said this years ago when Stephon Diggs first arrived in Buffalo. He made Josh Allen get better because he had the opportunity to improve and not have to carry the whole team on his back. You ain't going to replace Stephon Diggs in the aggregate now, but you also can't, if you can't feed Stephon, I don't give a damn if he has a tantrum or not. You still can't get that 25 or 30 you need to win an NFL football game.
Right.
Interesting perspective. Wow.
Yeah, I probably would say this with the Texans. It's expectations now. You know,
yes.
Like last year, you basically snuck on teams because you had no expectations. You were one of the worst rosters in the league in the beginning of 2023. Now you not only you won a division title, but you also won a playoff game. And that was without those moves. That was without Danielle Hunter. That was without Joe Mixon. That was without Stephon Diggs. Now you got those guys on that team. Basically, you have to at least make the AFC Championship game, or it's really a bust. This is a bust of a season if you don't make an AFC Championship appearance because you already accomplished going to the divisional round without adding those Pro Bowlers on that team, on that roster. So it's a lot of expectations. And to Trevor's point, there's tape on CJ Stroud. There's tape on what the Texans like to do on offense and defense. So it's going to be interesting to see how CJ Stroud continues to improve in year 2 versus year 1. And also for DeMeco Ryans, who I'm a fan of, I want to see how he's going to, kind of mesh these different personalities because Joe Mixon, he got a bit of a diva attitude as well, along with Stephon Diggs. So it's going to be interesting to see how he can kind of manage those different personalities in the locker room.
I mean, that being said, though, like, fellas, it's not that we think this team is bad.
No. Without question.
Exactly. No. I don't think they bad. I don't think they're a bad team at all.
Nah, they fall
and they could always be ran on. Like they could always be ran on. I mean, we ran for 188 yards last year. JT, the last game of the season, we ran 188 yards on them. So I mean, like they could always be ran on. And it might be even worse this year, especially if their linebackers end up missing time, like Christian Harris. I think he's out for like 4 weeks or something like that. Like he's going to be out for a little bit.
Shit, Ryan, where was all this running at when the Texans were playing the Titans last year? You said they could be ran, dog. God dang it. All I saw was Derrick Henry getting ran into a brick wall.
Also, y'all offensive line was terrible last year. From every aspect, it was bad.
And the defense have downgraded since that point, I believe.
Yeah, it has downgraded since then too.
All right, true, fellas. Let's see how bad or good we're gonna have each of your teams. But before then, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
SeatGeek is the ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. When you use our code LBR Media, you will get $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek scores each ticket selection 0 to 10 to let you know if you're getting a good deal or a bad deal. Click the link in the description to download the app, and remember our code LBR Media for $20 off your first order. SeatGeek, your route to high quality ticket selection.
Yes, sir. Of course, NFL season's right around the corner, literally starting Thursday, man. So if you ain't been to a game before, want to go ahead and get $20 off your first seats, go ahead and use that code again, LBR Media. Without further ado, man, Kyle, start us off. We're going to go around. It's going to come back to Trevor, me, and then Shark, and then we're going to get on out of here. So, again, go ahead and give us your AFC South Division predictions.
An honor, joy, and privilege to jump aboard here with the LBR crew. And let me be clear, it's always tough to come up with an intelligent take when you have good people in the room. And moreover, listen, I'm throwing more flowers here to my guy C. Lou because he said something that rings true for my predictions. This division will, in fact, be a dogfight. I have an 11-game winner. I have a 10-game winner. I have 2 8-game winners. There are no punks in this division from where I sit right now, as much fun as I make of the Mayonnaise Messiah. Hopefully he'll remember to throw out the correct color jersey. Anyways, so with all the above being said with this, I got the Texans at the top of the division with 11 wins. The Jags at 10, 8 wins each for the Colts and the Titans. And hey, listen, for my money, the only reason the Colts get only 8 wins is because I don't think AR plays enough games to get them to 10 or 9 or anything like that. I think the injuries have to come into play here in my mind, unless they utilize my ever so humble suggestion that JT get MVP caliber numbers. Now I hear you, C. Lou. Running backs don't get the votes. As a Niner fan, who are you trying to convince? We all know Run CMC was the actual damn MVP of the football league last year, okay? So, yeah, that's where I sit. Enjoyed and loved being on. But listen, until next time, everybody, I'm Kyle Nash, student of the game. Class dismissed.
Likes that.
Man, listen, I guess I'm up. So I'm going to tell you like this. The Titans have made too many moves, too many legitimate moves to suck this year. So my prediction, let me get to my floor first. The floor for the Tennessee Titans, in my opinion, is 6 wins. Now, I don't think they're going to do worse than 6 wins unless we have to see Mason Rudolph play quarterback for an extended period of time. But I'm going to say the floor is 6 wins. And if it's 6 wins, I think that we're exploring our options when it comes to quarterback in 2025. Now, the ceiling for the Titans, I give them a 9-win ceiling just for the simple fact that this offense, it may click sooner than we think, and they may end up, winning some games that they're not supposed to win. But I just know with this offense, it takes a little bit of time to gel. And even with Joe Burrow, as great as he is, his first year in this offense, I mean, he had the stats. He looked like a legitimate quarterback, but the team wasn't finishing games. So I need to see the Titans go out here and dominate who they're supposed to dominate. I need to see them go out here and steal some wins. If they can do that early on, I'll raise my ceiling up to, I'll go 11 games.
11 games in the AFC South wins the division. I want to hear those actual words come out your mouth that the Titans are going to win this division. So
I'm not gonna go that far. Like I said,
I'm with you. I'm with you, Trev.
I was saying you talking up the Titans like they about to be something serious. You saying
but look though, I mean, you have to look at these moves, and you can't rule anything out. I mean, you don't bring in a L'Jarius Sneed playing for the future. You don't bring in Tony Pollard playing for the future. You don't bring in a Lord Cushenberry playing for the future. These are moves that were made to contend now and to see if Will Levis is actually the guy. And if he's the guy, I feel confident in the Titans winning more than 9 games. But I'm
metaphorically hearing you dipping your toe in the water that the Titans gonna win the division. Just go on and jump in, bro, and say
I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling it out.
Just go ahead and jump in. Like
I'm not ruling it out. But I got to be real. Like C-Lou said, this division is going to be a dog fight because the Colts, I mean, even though the Colts didn't make a bunch of splash moves, I mean, the Colts had a legitimate football team. They got one of the best offensive linemen in the National Football League. They got one of the best defensive linemen in the National Football League, man. So you're going to have to come ready to battle in the trenches with the Colts. And the Texans, they got a bunch of weapons, even though I think it's not going to go as smooth as they think it's going to go. You got to respect Stephon Diggs. You got to respect Joe Mixon. You got to respect C.J. Stroud. You got to respect Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Schultz, and all those other guys here. We didn't even mention Derek Stingley. Now, I consider Derek Stingley a top 12 cornerback, and I say top 12 only because he's been injured. I need to see him stay on the field before I give him, that top 10 nod or whatnot. But you got the Texans, and then you got the Jaguars as well, even though I don't think much of the Jaguars being a Titans fan. But Jaguars have weapons too. Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, T-Law, which, T-Law, when he's at his best, he's pretty damn good. Then you got Josh Allen up over there who could wreck a game at any given time. I mean, it's some dogs within this division. So I'm not going to just sit up here and say, oh, yeah, the Titans are going to win this division. No, I'm going to say the Titans got a 9-win ceiling. But if things start to click early, it would not surprise me if the Titans win the division.
All right.
I want to hear you declaring that. See if I can match this energy. When it comes to Will Levis, what I hear you is saying Kevin Hart, stand up right here. About to learn today when it comes to
Man, I got some faith in Levis, man. I really do, because he hasn't done anything this offseason but own his role. I mean, he's, first one in the building, last one to leave. Everybody knows that old saying. I mean, he's gathering the guys and going on trips to, bond and train together. He's doing everything that you want your quarterback to do, and he's doing it naturally. He's being himself. You don't hear his teammates saying or alluding to Will Levis acting like somebody he isn't. No, I mean, he's the weird Mayo guy or whatever. I mean, he's not shying away from that. But when it comes to football, I think people are going to recognize that this isn't just a weird Mayo guy. No, this is a football player and anybody who's played any lick of football knows football players are weird.
I won't argue that, bro.
Dude. All right, Z-Lou, what you got, man?
Yeah, so I have the Titans at your ceiling. I have y'all winning. I have y'all going 9-8. I think that what y'all were 6-11 last year or something like that. I think y'all have raised y'all. I think y'all have raised y'all floor, and I think as much as y'all have added, I think that takes y'all 3 extra games at least, and so things can really start gelling together. Which would be probably 2025, where second year under the belt and everything in the offense, the defensive players second year together, whatever, and then that's when you take another jump. So I have y'all going 9-8. I actually have 2 10-7 teams, and that's the Jaguars and the Colts. And then I have the Texans at 11-6. And I made this. I said this today on the timeline that I do think the AFC South potentially gets 3 teams into the playoffs.
Ooh,
I can see. Okay.
That's interesting.
In the AFC, that's a big deal, C-Lou.
That's a big deal.
It is. I have some teams, the Bills and the Dolphins taking a little step back. The Bills just because you don't really know what they have as far as their defense. They have DeMar Hamlin starting at safety now. And then as far as their offense, I mean, they have Dalton Kincaid and I like Keon Coleman. I think Khalil Shakir are going to be good, but it's still one of those things where you have to show me on the field. I haven't seen it yet, and until I see it, I can't really, gauge you right. So yeah, I mean, I think that's how I have it going, and then of course, the Texans won the division. But again, I think it comes down to week 18 or week 18, week 17, and that's where the division comes down to.
But you're like me; you have it 1 game apart, right?
Yeah.
Off subject a little bit. But you mentioned Buffalo taking a step back. I think Buffalo may take a step back myself, but I look at this season for Buffalo. Well, Josh Allen. I look at this season as a season where Josh Allen can wholeheartedly win over a lot of people because he's had this thing against him to where people think that, Josh Allen just became Josh Allen because of Stephon Diggs. This is the year to prove me and all those other people wrong. And if he comes out here, keeps Buffalo competitive, if Buffalo is in the playoff mix in late December, early January, I mean, I will have nothing bad to say about this guy going forward.
I think you're right, but what are the expectations? I think Buffalo fans are asking for more than just a playoff entrance. They're thinking,
they Bills fans. I mean, they're crazy. But you got to be real. I mean, Buffalo is lost this off season. I mean, shoot, they had to, trim a lot of fat meat off, and the Bills fans, I know what they're thinking. They're paying Josh Allen a lot of money, and Josh Allen needs to have this team contending no matter what. And I agree with that to a certain extent, but at the same time, I mean, you have to be logical about this. I mean, as great of a quarterback as Josh Allen is, Josh Allen needs weapons to operate. We've seen this with Tom Brady. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he's 1-1. I mean, he can go out there and win Super Bowls with Kadarius Toney dropping the ball all over the place. Him and what's the other guy's name that was dropping the ball or whatnot? I forget his name, but yeah. I mean, we've seen Mahomes do it with less, but I'm not looking for that out of Josh Allen. I'm just looking for Josh Allen to keep Buffalo afloat throughout this year.
All right, Ryan, who you got for AFC South?
All right, I'm gonna just keep it 100 with y'all, man. I got the Titans win this division. I really do. I'm just keeping it real.
I'm jumping in the pool.
Jumping in the pool.
I'm in the pool 8 feet.
Ryan was like, "Fuck it, I'll say it."
If you jump in 8 feet, you can still hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
no worries. I got the Titans win this division. I just feel like, to me, and trust me, it's not like it's going to be like a 2-game win or anything. It's actually going to be virtual of a tiebreaker. I got the Titans and the Texans winning 10 games apiece. I think the Titans will win more games in the division, and that's going to be the decider of this division. I think the Titans will win 4 games versus the Texans winning 3 games. So I got the Titans winning this division, and of course, second I got the Texans. I think that they're going to pretty much win the same amount of games that they did last season. Third, I got the Jags. Really, my concern is, Trevor Lawrence getting that money. Is it the right decision? I mean, he's taking a step back last season. He only had that one stretch back in 2022 where he had those 8 games where he played pretty well. Outside of that, it's been kind of disappointing for a guy that's drafted number 1 overall. And last, I got the Colts. Only reason why I got the Colts last is because I just got to see Richardson play more than 4 games. I got to see him being able to stay healthy for an entire season. And think about it, last season with the Colts, they won 9 games, but 6 or 7 of those wins by Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew ain't there no more. You got Joe Flacco, and what Joe Flacco did with Cleveland, I don't think he's going to do that with the Colts. It was just because, things kind of just aligned the right way when he was in Cleveland. It ain't going to be the same way in Indianapolis. So it's going to be key for AR to stay healthy, and I just got to see it. So that's my ranking for the AFC South.
Minshew's ass.
For the folks at home that may not remember, like the Colts, it literally took them to the last game of the season for the division with Gardner Minshew at the helm. So
correct.
So that I would not surprise me there. But give me I'm gonna go exactly what C-Lou says as far as the standings and the wins. Except for the Titans, I got 1 less win. I got y'all at 8 and 9, but I think that's a proper step forward in the right direction as y'all try to build that chemistry with Will Levis at the helm while he gets acquainted with the rest of the guys, and we'll see what the Titans looking like come 2025. So I got the Titans at 8 and 9. I got both Jacksonville and Indianapolis at 10 and 7, and then give me the Texans winning the division with 11 wins.
Cool. I'm gonna go Texans with 11 wins as well. I just think with that much firepower, you got to make some shake. CJ Stroud, you talking like you top 5? I approve it. And just continue to make Carolina fans look dumb. But it's it's neither here or there. Speaking of Carolina fans look dumb, the Colts, they can make Carolina fans look dumb with Anthony Richardson. So not saying I'm a prey on y'all downfall, but it is what it is. But I do got y'all finishing second. I think that chemistry does matter, and with y'all being the team with the most chemistry, in my opinion, especially that defense. That defense gonna have y'all in a lot of games for sure. It's that great. It's not good. It's great. So it's just a matter of JT coming back healthy and Anthony Richardson having a good year this year. I got y'all at 9 and 8. I got the Jaguars at 8 and 9. Like I said, y'all gonna just beat up on each other really in the division. But I think with Trevor Lawrence is like you got to step it up, man. I'm not sure again outside of Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk, who is he throwing to? But I still think with the talent that I saw in college, he still got the potential to be that upper echelon quarterback. I just think he needs to prove it. Like I said, even 4,000 yards last year, and that was a step back. I'll take that. So let's bounce back and do what needs to be done. And of course, I got the Titans at 7 and 10. Of course, I don't even have to say it no more, but it ends and dies with the quarterback. He's very young. It's a little tape on him, but still, I think the weapons that y'all were able to get on offense and defense should kind of balance it out. It's just a matter of, how he's going to look when he plays. Y'all got the Titans winning the division. I can't see that with essentially a rookie quarterback, second-year quarterback, whatever, But I could be 100% wrong because, like I said, just on the outside looking in and on paper, like on offense, defense, y'all got it. Y'all literally got what's needed to compete, in the division for sure. But it's just the damn quarterback, the Mayo Messiah that he is. But shout out to him.
Hey, but listen, if he does the thing, I'm more than happy to throw some white roses for the flower segment.
These my guys right here. Like,
that's the room is rivals.
Yeah, look. These my guys. Ryan Shark. These my guys. Titans fans, and they from the state, I guess. Even though Memphis don't claim Tennessee like that, you want the Titans to do good. So let me see. Shark. I don't know if he in here or not. Shark can hear.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, bro.
Man, forget what y'all talking about, man. Titans and 4, bro.
Titans and 4.
Y'all talking about, man. Nah, for real.
Titans only winning 4 games. I feel that.
Titans and 4,
yeah. Hey, if the Titans only win 4 games, man, goddamn, I'm calling for the coach's head and the GM.
Rudolph, that's right.
For real though. I got the Texans winning. I mean, they better win.
Right.
All the hype they get in, I mean, they better win. That's all I got to say on that. So 12-5, I think CJ Stroud is probably one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. He probably can. We'll see what he can do in the playoffs. He might could take the next step this year, so we'll see what can happen. So I got them going 12-5. I actually got the Titans finishing. I think the Titans are going to start slow, just in general, just from. I mean, that's a lot of turnover. It's like 50% of the whole roster, but that's a talented ass roster. And for that, I think they're going to get it going. I think this is where the early bye week helps. We have a bye week in week 5. I think that actually is a good thing for the Titans this year, and that's going to get them their first 4 games. See how to get the chemistry, get the chemistry right and all of that. And I think they get flying from that point forward. So I have them finish second, and somewhat second. I kind of got the Titans and Colts tied at second. I think they end with around the same record. I got them both going 10-7. And I got the Jags going only because I ain't gonna have 2 divisions with all 4 teams winning records. I predicted the AFC North to get all 4 teams winning records. So I'm gonna have Jags at 8-9 because I don't know they both 2 divisions winning off. But I believe the AFC South is the second best division in the in the AFC. Now I said that on the AFC North show as well. So
that's without question.
I think that's what a lot of people are sleeping on. I think every team in this division has a legit chance at having a legit quarterback. Every single team in this division does. And then the rosters, I feel like they supplement the quarterbacks. So I feel like AFC South coming, people just don't understand because they don't really pay attention to the AFC South. But we beat up on each other every single year, and then we give everybody else hell. Like, it's every year that happens. So
this division isn't the same beast, guys. Like, understand, in the past 2 years, the absolute fucking arms race that has taken place in this space is absolutely nuts. You went through from a bunch of rugged teams that could only run the football, and Houston ran the football because they had to, and now ever since Trevor Lawrence got drafted and was wasted his entire first year by the literal worst coaching job in history, potentially. I didn't mean to do that, Bell, but it's appropriate. Why the hell not? And listen, I say that the Jags were mired in Urban's coaching, okay? But the rest of the division was smart enough to react and get their quarterbacks in the building. You saw what I did there, Trevor. Anyway, no, listen, with all that being in mind, guys, you give your GMs this much credit. And I mean, the Titans were a little late to the punch. They tried with Malik. I liked the pick. It just didn't land. And then you're coming in with Levis, who was at least an upgrade from Malik. I have no disrespect for that. But this draft, everybody came up to get in the passing arms race. The only team I could argue that might, and I'm going to put might, with no disrespect to Anthony Richardson, might be a air quotes run first team still, because you have a bruiser of a quarterback who could play linebacker. It might be the Colts because you still have JT. Everybody else doesn't have a bruiser back, or if they do, it's in a rotation. Everybody else, and JT can catch it too, but has a a running back that's versatile. It's the quarterback and the upgraded receivers that's been the purpose of this arms race and this increase in talent. And the point made, not enough people are talking about it. Listen, I got to ask Coach Doug Peterson about it in camp. He acknowledged the absolute arms race in the passing game in this division is something to behold.
All right. Think we got it there, man. Anything else need to be said about the AFC South, gentlemen?
I think we got it all out there on the table, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. I mean,
popcorn.
As always, fuck the Colts, fuck the Texans, fuck the Jags. But All right. But at the end of the day, man, I love the competition, man. And I'm ready to go.
Football is
Yeah,
back.
I mean that's the thing, man. We talk shit to each other, but anybody else come try to talk shit to us, we on their ass.
Oh no. Yep.
Yeah, that's where everybody goes.
That's what's up, man. Well, all minds clear. Let's go and get up out of here. Cal, Marako, Silu, man. I appreciate y'all for joining us for real. A lot of fun. We got a lot of viewers, man. We got a lot of energy, a lot of good ish going on. Cal, where can we follow you on Instagram? And again, where can we follow everything you got going on?
As I said, an honor, joy, and privilege to jump aboard. I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at the SOTG, on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings with the Fans First Sports Network on the Jaguars page, as well as the Duval Dive. 7:30 Wednesday is we're going to start kicking off the first show during the week to preview the upcoming game, and of course a live reaction with me and my guy Travis D. Holmes. Make sure you check that, as well as the Student of the Game podcast. That's also on Wednesday, 9:05 p.m. Eastern. Got the final NFL predictions, so look out for that with the simulcast I have with the Huddle Up crew. So make sure you check that out as well. Of course, finally, my coverage of college football with the Black and Gold Banneret. Check out my writings there for all things UCF, as well as the Night Shift podcast that's powered by the Black and Gold Banneret. Listen, I got to tell you, I wasn't prepared to run it all down, so I'll say it one more time. Until next time, everyone, class dismissed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Love it.
Marako, man, times the F up again, man. Appreciate you. Where can we follow you and your work?
Man, you can follow me on Twitter at MFKA. You can follow me on Facebook. My name, Marako Taylor. Make sure you tune in to the Titans Coliseum podcast every Monday and Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time, with me, my co-host, RJ Ellison, Leonard Firestone, and I just want to say I appreciate all of you guys. I've had a blast tonight, man. We got to do this again towards the end of the season, man. So some of us can stand on business, and some of us can eat home.
I like that. I like that idea.
If Ryan stand at the plane, I want him to be able to stand up and talk that cash shit. He earned it.
Marako, we gonna put that on the board, man. I think
we might put that on the board. Like,
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. All right, second place, C. Lou. Appreciate it, man. Not for real, man. C. Lou, appreciate it, bro. Of course, extended family out on Twix and everything, man. Appreciate you, brother.
No problem. Appreciate y'all for having us on, having me on. Yeah, y'all can follow me on Twitter, at DropBallsPod. Is you see it right there on the screen at DropBallsPod. You can find me on Threads at DropBalls_pod. I mostly use Twitter though. I'll be popping my shit on Twitter. And especially since football season's coming up, that's when I really get in my bag. And then also you can check out Sports After Dark. We go live on YouTube, Sports After Dark YouTube. We go live every Monday. We might be switching that up though, just because football season starting. Monday Night Football is going to kind of crack into our schedule or whatever. So be on the lookout for that, because we might be changing that up. But yeah, just follow us on YouTube there, and then also follow us on Playback. It's one of the newer apps out there. We stopped doing Twitter Spaces and we just moved everything to Playback because it's a lot more, not user friendly, but you can do a lot more with Playback and still have the same aesthetic as Twitter Spaces. So join us on there.
For the best experience possible for you people. I appreciate that. See?
Yeah. We can do a lot more on Playback than we could do on Twitter Spaces. So make sure to follow us there. And that's pretty much everything. Drop Balls podcast might be coming back since it's football season. Like I said, again, that's when I get in my bag during football season and really start doing some things.
Bring it back, please. Streets need it.
Streets need it. All right, speaking of the streets, man, the streets missing Ryan in these comments, man. But of course, we have my guy with us, man, repping them Titans with the Jump Pass Power. Ryan, we appreciate you, of course. You family, you're more than welcome to come on at any time. Where can we follow you in your work?
Man, you know what I'm saying? You can follow me on Twit at Ryan Harris 662. You can also follow the Jump Pass at the Jump Pass TN. Starting the regular season, I'll be dropping weekly episodes talking about just various NFL topics. About to get my predictions down pat. That will be a later episode sometime later on this week. couple of surprises on who I think gonna make the playoffs and everything. So you don't want to miss all that. And that's it. I mean, you can follow me on Facebook, but I'm more of a family man on Facebook, so you can't you ain't gonna get much out of me on Facebook. And I don't do threads, even though somebody does do threads now. But we're gonna keep that within the chat. So.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Anywho, man, as far as the network goes, man, make sure y'all tap in with the other parts as well. 3 the Harder Way, bringing you our top 50 NBA players going to the next season. Again, make sure y'all rock with us on that. Shout out to the Genius Report, the Real Deal with Damian Adams as well. As LBR Gaming with Trevor. Trev said he getting that new 2K, so I'm gonna be watching him because I don't know when I'm gonna get it. We'll talk about that at another time.
We'll talk about it offline.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Make sure y'all hit up lbrealmedia.com for merch. We got all kind of podcast merch and sayings, so make sure y'all tap in with that. Of course, shout out to our sponsor at SeatGeek. Gentlemen, Trev, of course, happy to have you, brother. Where can we
always, man? Of course, I'm at the Art of Trevor on Twix. Of is a preposition, so you know what not to do with it. Just catch me on there, talking my usual shit. So.
Cool. And shout out to Sharky, man. Shout out to Sharky, double shift, and we ain't see him golfing, but it is what it is. Shout out to Cap, of course, man. We lucky to have you. Happy to have you. We know basketball season right around the corner, man. But of course, family.
Yep, of course, man. With a new title as well, I'd be the beat reporter instead of the writer. So I'd be doing like pregame shows live on the
Come on, man.
And turning up more of the video content this season. So definitely excited for that. But y'all know y'all can follow me at the 1DAONE_P Shark. And before we get done, I did want to give a shout out because especially I guess C. Lou is the first person I ever reached out to be a guest on the show that I didn't have a prior relationship with when I had my Titans podcast. So I was glad to finally get on LBR, but that was a big step in just my podcast journey and reaching out to people, and now reaching out to all these different folks to come on all these shows. And then Kyle met him last year through Mike Patton. Shout out to an AFC South repping his brand, Mike Patton. He's gonna make it tonight.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely, man. And Marako was the guy I always wanted to get on my Titans podcast before I ended it, and I never got a chance to. So glad to finally get him on LBR. So it was a no-brainer to get him to come on and rep for the Titans.
He was awesome.
All right.
Everybody was awesome, man. Again, appreciate y'all. Everybody that's been a part of any preview show. Again, thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. This has been a blast, and we probably gonna do something at the end of the season. That was a crazy idea. So we definitely try to tap into that. But again, y'all can follow me at Tev Shakir on everything but threads because no offense, why the hell you got one? I mean, it's kind of nonchalant, it's redundant, but it's cool. No, but y'all, man, have a great night. It's been a pleasure. It's been a blast until I guess next week. Hell, we may take a week off. Who knows? It's been a long couple of weeks, but we'll let y'all know. Y'all tap in with the brand, and we're gonna keep y'all updated. We're gonna keep y'all flowing, man. Football season is here. We finally made it. And let's see who y'all got winning real quick. Who y'all got winning? Chiefs or Ravens?
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Okay.
Chiefs.
A lot quicker.
Just for the angry playoff response, but man, that's gonna be a fun one though.
I don't know. Now that I think about it, because
I'm ready to see Derrick Henry. I say that.
And they lost at home to Detroit, so
they were also missing Chris Jones and Travis Kelce in that game.
They were.
Damn.
They were in the You're absolutely right.
And they also had no other receivers out there.
But I'm gonna stick with our commandment that kind of lived up, at least except for 1 year, but of not picking against Patrick Mahomes. So
we would never pick.
I didn't say it was a smart move. I'm just going with a different set of psyche.
That's fine. Hey, that's fine. Hey, you providing balance, Kyle. You providing balance. There you go.
We appreciate it, Kyle. We appreciate it, Kyle. Man, y'all go win some money, get y'all some money on these parlays, man. Again, football season.
I'm working on the big one, man. I'm working on the big one.
All right, man. All right, again, appreciate y'all.
The most I won right now is turning 10 and 300. So hey,
better than that. We need to tap in with Ryan. That's the
quiet. Yeah, Ryan don't want to be hitting.
That's a real quiet assassin. We ain't gonna say nothing.
Racks and stuff.
600 off of 5, bro.
The most quiet in the room. You like, I got a plan. Hey, he been getting it. So yeah, Ryan, don't be selfish, bro. God watching. Until next week. Until next week, man. Y'all take care, be safe, and appreciate y'all for rocking with us.
Peace.